together. They live in the city together. They hang out together. They're all in the same family. We're the only idiots that fight because we want our voice to only be on one side. Like, does that even make any sense? And when the side loses, you lose everything. They, on the other hand, have a voice no matter what because somebody that looks like them is always in control.
Frank, candid, and straight to the point.
Well, it's just a skewed system.
Of course it is.
It's a lot of adjustment.
But answer my question though. Should we let people go? Should we let people go? Like, let's just forget about bail altogether. And if your neighbor commits a homicide and kills people, if you kill people and they next to you and you just let them come back and live right next to you, they can live upstairs from you. Let them come in your house.
Frank, candid, and straight to the point. This is the best radio show in the state of Wisconsin. The Truth in the Afternoon with Dr. Ken Harris on 1017 The Truth and The Truth app.
Now, he's the mayor of the city of Milwaukee. He's a young man. Give it a chance. I only complain about things that I care about. What I want you to do is pretend like I'm in St. Louis. And all I'm asking the mayor and the common council president and the common council, show me.
Now, live from the American Family Insurance Studio at the Avenue in the heart of downtown Milwaukee, here is Dr. Ken Harris.
Hey. You're listening to Truth in the Afternoon. I'm your host, Dr. Ken Harris. 833-212-1017 is the number. Have you ever been on your phone and then you realize that you left your phone unlocked and the auto lock was on never? And so you've been laying your phone around and walking away from your phone and coming back to your phone, not realizing that if somebody wanted to get on your phone, they could have just picked it up and went all through your phone. I just did that. I just looked at my phone and went, when was the last time I checked it? You're listening to Truth in the Afternoon. I'm your host, Dr. Ken Harris. 833-212-1017 is the number. You can check us out on multiple platforms, the Truth app. You can watch us live on YouTube and the Truth app on the website. Spotify, TuneIn, Stitcher, Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, whatever you want to do. However you want to listen, just check us out. Tell your friends, tell your neighbors. If you got an email you want to send, host at 1017thetruth.com. What else? Yeah. So why am I acting like this? Well, it's a couple reasons. I think what's missing, I keep trying to figure out the information that young people don't understand. And so I get it now because when I was growing up, I didn't want to listen to, like, I would ask my friends, hey, I'm trying to buy a house. Can you help me? Which makes absolutely no sense because they don't own a house. But that's what seems to happen. I don't want to talk to them because they're old. Talk to somebody younger. Well, that's nice, but if they don't have the information and the history and the knowledge, you really have no idea what information you're getting, if it's right or wrong. And so I've been trying to figure out what is it that every single person needs to learn. What's the one thing that no matter what, your age, your race, your gender, education level, what is the one thing that, no, I didn't say that. The most important thing in the world for you to learn. 833-212-1017 is the number. I'm interested in learning about that because I believe the most important thing for people to learn is consequences. That your actions have consequences. Now, what we've done is we've made consequences so negative that we avoid it. And I think that's ridiculous because that's how you learn. You learn by having consequences. So, why do we avoid it? We have a crime problem because of consequences. You have a reckless driving problem because of consequences. You have a speeding problem because of consequences. You have a homicide problem because of consequences. Or, better still, the lack thereof. We've got people that were killed last year in Milwaukee because they were not given consequences. There are some people that were doing things, but then they never learned the consequences. But there's a step further when it comes to consequences that we need to understand. The most important thing in the world is to learn consequences of your actions. What you do in 30 seconds can change and alter your life completely. Look at Tory Lanez. One argument, one dispute with a friend. Acted a fool, cranked off a gun, pellets. Okay. He'll get out of jail in his 40s. Think about that. One decision, one breath, one step could have saved him the next 10 years of his life. And he didn't do it. Now, I'm not saying you can avoid bad mistakes, but there are consequences to your actions. And when you know them up front, even when they're bad, it's okay. It's when you do things based on how you feel, haven't thought it through, haven't given it time. And so the whole point of it is that the most important thing in the world is to learn consequences of actions while still benefiting from the lesson. So if you're not around to benefit, Tory Lanez will benefit from the lesson. He could have got 22 years. He would have been 51, 52 years old when he got out. He'll be out at 42. Does that really matter? No. If you got kids, you don't see him. If you got a spouse, you don't see him. If you got a girlfriend, you don't see him. If you got a boyfriend, you don't. Right? Done. One split second. The time that it took to pull the trigger on a gun has to have been 100th of a second. They've timed police officers going from holster to firing the first round in less than 0.3 of a second. Think about that. He just destroyed his entire life, his family's entire life, for one, literally 0.3 of a second decision. And so what do? How do you fix that? The most important thing in the world is to learn consequences of actions and still benefit from the lesson. The benefit shouldn't be harsh. Like for me, 10 years is harsh. I thought they gave him too much. 10 years is a bit much. But you can't argue that point with Tory Lanez. He fired a gun around people where he was armed, around people who were alive. And so now his consequence is prison and being a convicted felon. That's it. What's the benefit of that? He gets to learn from his lesson. I would suggest you look in JS Online today. There's a little line in there that says, Milwaukee Homicide Database. Make sure you read that. Because when you realize the most important thing in the world is to learn consequences of actions while still benefiting from the lesson, read the database. Some people don't get that.
That is Dr. Ken's Truth on the new 1017 The Truth.
It's that time, Wisconsin. The Wisconsin State Fair is back. From Thursday, August 3rd to Sunday, August 13th, check out the Wonder Fair Wheel, Spin City Amusement Ride and Game Area, and of course, all the crazy yet tasty new food options, such as the deep fried bacon